You are not welcome here.
Behold!
How amusing.
Now, just my patience.
Let's end this now.
Lightning's terrified!
Squall and Fury.
Following orders.
Cry louder!
Out of the frying pan, it's... Our bond is strong!
The wind rises. That's far enough.
You are not welcome here.
Nice and fast! Stand with me! Out of my way!
Behold now.
Search for it.
I'm getting
Know the place.
You're toast!
Lucky today.
Dissipate!
Squall and Fury.
You dare to gaze upon me?
Now you're testing my patience.
Lightning's terrified! I'm going in!
Ready.
Eat this!
When evil lurks, shoot on sight. Into the shadows.
Boba, get them!
Hunt them down.
Everybody stand back! Let's light it up!
Loaded.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Into the shadows. Time to testify.
Let's light it up! Nice and spicy!
Ready.
Evil looks. Shoot on sight. Into the shadows. Enough!
Teamwork is dreamwork! Out of the frying pan, it's...
Ready. Hunt them down.
nice and spicy!
Time to testify.
I'm going in! Booba, get them! You're toast!
Evil looks. Shoot on sight.
That's gonna hurt in the morning.
Loaded.
Let's light it up! Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Into the shadows.
This route... If you ever have any...
Are you sure it has to be me? Fine. Let's get this over with.
What'd they do this time? We haven't seen our Sumeru friends. Wow, the academia sure is... But where should we go looking for people that we know?
Traveler, Paimon.
Sino! It's been so long since we last saw you!
Welcome back to Sumeru City. I'm So, what brings you back here?
Oh, nothing in particular. Paimon just... saw a really big mushroom out on the road.
Funnily enough, we were reminiscing about you recently too. It was at a group dinner.
Really? You were thinking...
Indeed. Or as I call it, the... You really want me to say the rest? Okay. It's always rice to meet stew again.
Oh, darn, he said it.
You like that one, huh? You must if you remember.
All right. Here's your 500 Mora. Paimon's never making a bet again. Paimon really thought Sino would be able to hold back on the jokes. They say people can change, but maybe that's just wishful thinking.
Ah, so this was technically my fault. In that case, I'll treat you to some sweets later. Anyway, I'm actually investigating a case right now. My mind is focused on work, which is why I didn't complete the joke at first.
A case?
Nothing major.
Need any help?
Such enthusiasm.
What?
Obvious enough. All right, follow me.
The wind rises.
Meow. Oh, it's you. 1 second. Now activating chat mode. You made me jump there. I thought they'd finally caught me.
Well, my heart rate did. Jumped up a little, I mean. Objectively speaking, the trouble was entirely of my own making. Half an hour ago, I was at Hotel de Boer for a drinks reception. It was to celebrate the success— probably because I'm playing the lead role. Is that so surprising? I'm always getting invitations to do— We took all the kids from the House of the Hearth out to see a film. And anyway, it just so happened that a director called Mary who had sent me an invitation right around then. Yep, you nailed it. I'm playing the role of a puppet. In fact, the show's called The Lost Puppet, and it's a masked mime show. So I don't have to do any facial expressions or say any lines. Literally just a series of physical movements. The director says it's a very avant-garde art form. Art is not comprehended by the mind, but felt in the heart. At least, that's what the director says. At the drinks reception, everyone was crowding around, but being the center of attention is draining. So the other thing is, some weird— Oh, sorry, Bonnie. I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation. No, we just met. We bumped into each other right after I slipped away. Well, it'd be kind of difficult for us to communicate otherwise. Besides, I think she's taken a liking to the name. Haven't you, Bonnie? Yeah, that's right. Good kitty. We'll go find your owner soon, I promise. Nope. She's wearing a collar, and for the most part, she's pretty well groomed. If she is a stray, her stomach's been growling a lot. I guess she must have been missing for a few days now. As much as I'd love to hang out, but the reception— Well, I just find it exhausting, thinking through all the different ramifications of different choices. It's fine. He got Fremine to make me a little something for just this situation. Poof! A phaetometer. It looks pretty over the top, I know, but it's essentially just a box of cards. He kept the design simple, so it'd be harder to break. The way it works is, I pick a card at random, then look at the number on the card. Well, for example, if the number on the card is 5 or higher, I help Bonnie find her owner. I just have to believe in the bond between me and my cards, and my fate will reveal itself to me in numerical form. Huh, I didn't like that. Was I using it wrong? Maybe if I just— Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron out. I'll have to let Fremine know. Let's see, which card did I get? 4. Well, the cards fell on the ground though, so I don't think it counts as fate. If you want to get the right answer, you have to let fate decide. Also something Linny said. So, to put it another way, if picking a card up off the ground is how to not leave it to fate, then that means it must be the wrong answer. Or why don't you pick a card? Since I ran into you here, that means— thank you. This one is fine. Here, take the phaetometer. If it's 5 or above, that means fate. Also, if you have your own thoughts about what I should do— All right. So, we're looking for Bonnie's owner? There's 20 cards in total, numbered 1 to 20. So there's only a 1 in 5 chance of drawing less. I should also mention, this time the cutoff was 5, but I just set that to wherever I feel like. To put it in perspective, I said I'd only do the show if I drew a 1. Fate can be pretty I think I'll go to the Steambird and see about putting an ad in the paper. You want to come along?
Quit following me. Too squall and fury.
Every stupendous day starts with a Steambird. Oh, hi Lynette. Hi Traveler. What can I help you with? I don't think so. Have you picked up a stray?
Yep. If there's no commission to follow up on...
Why, of course.
Well, we've registered you as missing. Also, I just wanted to say, well, if you've got some time, you should stop by my place tomorrow. Alright.
Behold!
I believe this cat belongs to me.
I already told you, this isn't your cat.
Just take a breather, you two. Oh, you're here. As you can probably see, you'll have to take a rain check on that.
This is my friend's cat. He's preoccupied with some important business, so I came to retrieve her in his stead.
No, it's far more likely this cat escaped from the humane... Bonnie?
That's the name I've given her in the meantime. Well, this complicates things.
Listen, I'm the director of the Humane Society, okay? We've got so many strays, dogs, cats. She just looked somewhat familiar, so I came to check, just in case. If she turns out to be one of our... we're an organization...
The Humane Society.
Yes, that's the one. Anyway, if it's not too much trouble. If it turns out I really...
It belongs to my friend.
Go on, Bonnie.
Oh, nope. Well, I suppose this...
Wait a second. You lied earlier.
Lied? I'm afraid I don't...
A liar always has a tell. The look in their eyes, their breathing pattern, the way they hold themselves. The things that can give you away are often more...
What are you talking about? The way I see it, you're conflating base...
Normally, when someone is called out, their breathing speeds up as they begin to panic. But your breathing pattern hasn't changed one bit. In fact, it's been strangely calm and measured. If you're a bad guy, I'm sure you'll take off running the first chance you get. If you're a good guy, the most likely explanation is that you're a member of the Guard.
And you're basing this off of...
Intuition. Nothing more.
Intuition. You're right. I'm a member of the Guards. The name's Elodie. I'm currently investigating a cross-border smuggling case. This cat here... Bonnie was her name? Well, a couple of days ago, our suspect got wind that we were on his tail and fled. I just so happened to stumble upon your notice in the Steambird. So, I decided to see. The impact of this case has been a new kind of illegal drug, imitation synth. We confiscated all the synth on the market, but addiction isn't something that goes away overnight. Even without substances on the market, people are still looking for a way to get their next fix, and criminals are all too eager to capitalize on. After the original synth debacle, we put several measures into place to prevent similar incidents from occurring. We only recently got word of the presence of imitation synth overseas. We managed to track down evidence of some early transactions. The Marechaussee Phantom launched an investigation to track down every person in Fontaine capable of producing a drug like that. He's a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute. His name is Pierre. Pierre
Lefebvre.
The Marechaussee Phantom found him in Poisson. In addition to the cat, he also had a pendant with him. At first, there wasn't much cause for... It was only later that we Obviously, this discovery...
That's not possible.
Exactly. The family has engaged... Pierre is one of those very survivors. He's been hiding away in the Fontaine Research Institute all these years. Well, my fellow... There could be a chance. If I take Bonnie back... I have to admit... Well, I've got some other...
It's just... the head of the Lefebvre family. He was the eminent person who kidnapped me. It was at a dinner party. Someone tricked me into boarding the Lefebvre family carriage. But before anything worse could happen, Father intervened. Yep. Father was the one who orchestrated the fall of the Lefebvre family. That's what led Lenny and I to join the House of the Hearth after all these years. I never thought I'd hear the Lefebvre. Don't worry about me. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was just thinking about Lenny. He's been acting strange recently. He avoids me for days on end, consumes himself with some secret investigation. Thinking about it now, it's almost like the one I drew from that deck of cards was part of his plan all along. He must have asked Fremine to help him out. In any case, I know it's very possible. I'm sure he tried to send me away because he was afraid it would bring up some painful memories for me. And even after all these, you'll have to help me teach him a lesson. Yep. I want to a little bit of both, perhaps. Okay, all right.
Squall and Fury!
Lynette, you're, not at
You can drop the act, brother. In fact, I don't think either of us will have a need for acting anytime soon. You should know better than to try and keep something from me. You've never been able to do that, even when we were kids.
And that's why I tried to distract you with the masked mime show. But I guess you're just too good.
Care to introduce us to your new assistant?
This is Officer Shovras, captain of...
Nice to see you. I should clarify something. Mr. Lenny's here at my invitation, not the other way around. To borrow your expression, Miss Lynette, I suppose that would make him my assistant more than anything. We've brought on Mr. Lenny as a consultant in the past. He was instrumental in helping us crack a case involving a perpetrator who used magic tricks to commit crimes. I was hoping he'd be able to provide some...
So you've heard everything then?
That's exactly why we're here. There's always been questions surrounding the fall of the Lefebvre family. Some people even believe the House of the Hearth was involved. Whoever was behind it all was extremely cautious. They didn't leave a shred of evidence. This very fact, however, leads me to believe it was indeed the work of that harbinger. I took a look at the entrance and exit records of all the carriages that night. Let's just say it wasn't hard to deduce that they're... Don't worry, I don't have any evidence. I sought Mr. Linney's help with the smuggling. The way I look at it, it's a collaboration between us as people, not the organizations we represent. Besides, not at all. I was planning to invite you from the very beginning, Miss Lynette. It's just that my assistant here raised some objections.
Linny, I'm not the same person I was back then. That little girl who did nothing but cower in the corner in fear, she doesn't need saving anymore.
I'm sorry, Lynette. You're right. I let my concerns get the better of me.
Oh, and the next time you want to distract me, you should try a different approach.
Who's this? You pick up a stray while
It's a bit complicated.
Well, if there are no objections, then I suppose the only thing left...
It appears the Lefebvre family was very particular. The family would use different emblems to mark differences in status, blood relation, and the like. In fact, the insignia that was discovered on the pendant was used to represent...
It's highly likely. That very status might have been what allowed him to emerge from the fall of his family relatively unscathed. It would also explain why he was able to assume a new identity as a researcher with
We discovered something interesting, though. After talking to...
Apparently, Pierre was once addicted to synth. He tried to use the resources at the Institute to create a substance with a similar effect. He claimed it was just for research purposes, but the Institute revoked his access to the relevant materials regardless. He was placed on disciplinary leave, pending a thorough investigation of his actions. But it seems the Institute ran into some trouble along the way. Could have been a lack of personnel or a timing issue. As for his family background, it appears none of his co-workers at the Institute, other than the pendant. Based on the samples of those traces might not be... We didn't find any records indicating possible involvement in overseas transactions.
Well, his neighbor... If his recluse...
After he disappeared.
Poisson. You know Hotel de Boer, where I first found Bonnie? To get there from Poisson, you have to cross a stretch of ocean. It's not somewhere...
A cat?
Bonnie is Pierre's cat.
Oh, that's right! When the Marechaussee Phantom first tracked him down...
From what we've learned about Pierre...
Exactly.
Wait, you think the cat can lead us there?
Near the coast, the beach, and beneath the cliffs.
Well, I've certainly never taken a witness statement like this before.
Well, if it works out, maybe it's something worth getting used to.
Cats and humans are actually pretty alike. When it comes to communication, most of what we... Of course, body language has its limitations. You're not going to be able to get across any...
The important thing is that we now have a lead.
There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever.
Seems like Bonnie is trying to... Gardamex ahead.
Look out!
The bond is strong.
Behold! That's far enough! Search for it! Unsightly insects! Swollen Fury! You're dead! Search for it! Know your place!
Stand with me!
Wow, Lynette, you found this place so easily. If I thought there was any chance you'd say yes.
Sounds familiar. I pretty much receive letters daily from people trying to poach her from me.
Let's just focus on our...
Aha! Just as we thought. This is where the imitation synth was being made. Looks like he's got more than just imitation synths stashed around here. In addition to the raw materials needed to synthesize this, these cleaning agents are likely used to dispel traces of the substance, like its smell. The Special Patrol did some digging into imitation synth. Our records indicate that it must have taken a considerable amount of time and skill to ensure all those traces. But what are these other drugs for?
The material these bags are made of, it's quite rare. It's the very same, actually. Romaritime flower fiber. But there's something special about the composition of these bags. I took a closer look, and it appeared even the strings look specially designed to keep the bags I came across some bags made of the same material just now, but they were much smaller and thinner. From the look of them, they seemed far less durable as well. Very similar, actually. Normally, it would be easy for a guard poodle to sniff out the imitation synth, but if it was sealed away in a bag like that, it might be possible to elude detection for some time. But what could these big bags be for then? If the goal is to keep the imitation synth hidden and sealed away, these bags seem a bit too conspicuous.
When the Marechaussee Phantom searched Pierre's house... You're right. That doesn't seem like his way of doing things. Only the lower halves of...
Based on the various ingredients we've found, it looks like he used a special...
So then he transferred the imitation...
No. I don't believe our suspect is the kind... The cleaning agent and the sealed bags might get...
The barrels we found were wet around the base, but the... If you put a barrel in the water, it will normally float on its side. Unless it's heavy...
Yes. With flotation rings around the body of the barrels, they'd stay upright in the water.
You think he used floating barrels? I suppose if he acted at night, when there are very few other...
But then, wouldn't the barrels be
Traveler, can you come...
The wind rises.
The wreckage of a small boat? This isn't the place. Got it. Time to go up and report.
hold.
As expected, we found a few pieces of rope and some... With this anchoring system, we also came across...
Let's talk this through. Based on...
It could be that he was trying to avoid meeting up with his associate face to face.
It seems like Pierre deliberately chose the floating...
Well, if that's the case, they must not have a very close working relationship.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. Assumptions can be detrimental to solving a case. The most important thing, let's say for now that he was only in charge.
Since we've determined that
we can certainly check the various ports for that information. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we were never... You're right. Whatever vessel was used for the pickup, the person responsible for smuggling the substance out of Fontaine would have had to use a larger vessel for the actual transport. That's the only way they would be able to smuggle on a large enough scale. They must have found a way to disguise... Exactly. We can't let any opportunities slip through the cracks. Although, given the amount of ports that could be involved, we should probably split up.
I'll run home and ask some of my brothers and sisters to try and dig up...
I should also head back and up...
All right. Come on, Bonnie. You too.
Oh, Lynette, traveler. And Bonnie, too. What brings you all here?
Did something happen?
Oh. I see. Thank you. I'm in charge of guarding the port. You mentioned you were after some travel logs, right? I can go fetch those for you.
Looks like I've got another hard day of work. No, not usually. It's this incident that happened recently. Before that, everything was normal. All we had to do was confiscate anything suspicious and But things...
By suspicious cargo, do you mean imitation synth?
Yep. However, prohibited substances are just one example. We confiscate all sorts of contraband during the course of our inspections. Or at least...
So what happens to the goods you confiscate?
Oh, we keep them in a storage locker. If they turn out to be something particularly dubious, we'll turn them over to the maison, or if the goods are only slightly...
Sorry for the wait. These are the travel logs for all the recent activity at the port.
Oh, you brought Gerard with you.
Actually, he followed me here himself. It's like he's... Huh.
Huh? We were so careful not to touch it, but we still ended up with traces on us. If it leaves a residue so easily, I just don't understand how the culprit was able to disguise the goods at all.
Why don't you have a look at the travel logs first? All ships coming in and out of the port are recorded here, except for the ones the port authorities ride to and from work.
The Humane Society. Their name is all over the exit logs.
Ah, the director of the organization explained that, actually. He said a lot of the cat and dog breeds unique to Fontaine are also very popular overseas. So, his organization offers an over...
Bernard, the director of the Humane Society, was the man who came... Have you figured it out too, Traveler? The way the criminal disguised the goods? When Bernard asked to take a closer look at Bonnie, he was actually checking whether there was any imitation synth in her stomach.
Wait, what?
The sealed bags we found at the secret base. They were specially made to be corrosion resistant. There were gaps around the lids of the barrels, and airbags were used to keep them upright in the water. Those drug shovers found at the secret base. She most likely didn't recognize them because they're not used on human beings. It's an anesthetic used on pets. The perpetrator must have given it to the animals. Pierre must have made the animals swallow the sealed bags full of imitation synth at his secret base. Then he stuffed them into floating barrels and left the rest to Bernard.
The sealed bags combined with an animal's body odor would certainly be enough to mask the scent of imitation synth.
During our inspections, we would have never thought to inspect the bellies of those animals for anything suspicious. Even if we tried to feel around for something, I'm sure it would be
Exactly. I bet Bernard... she's probably in the clear. Otherwise, Bernard would have never left without her. I'm guessing he didn't know whether Pierre... Just imagine. He sees the notice we put in the Steambird. If Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth, then Bonnie would practically be living proof of their crimes. He would have had...
So, that's why he came to find you, and...
Wait a second, I'm a little lost here. If you've got something as convenient as a floating barrel, why not just stuff it with the imitation synth directly? Why not wait to hide the stuff until after the
In order to make sure the animals could swallow the sealed bags, they made them extremely thin. Had they not done that, that step would have required a lot of energy. We've already proven how
Okay. Then, let's head to the Humane Society right away and bring that guy to justice. I'll bring a Gardamek to speed up the process. The headquarters of the Humane Society should be somewhere around here. Bernard could show up any moment now.
Ah, you're the people from earlier. Wait, you're from the guards?
After him! We can't let him get away! Give it up, Bernard.
Mercy. Have mercy. Oh.
The Humane Society has done so much good over the years, and yet you have committed such an atrocious deed in its name.
Look, I didn't have a choice, okay? My father cared about those blasted animals so much, he didn't bother to take care of his human wife and son at all. While those animals were showered with love, I lived worse than a dog.
No one asked. Tell me, how did you first get to know Pierre?
Well, after I took over the Humane Society, it gradually became harder and harder to maintain its operations. Until one day, it said that I could stand to get a large sum of money as long as I helped them to transport some animals abroad. It was only after, but then Pierre wrote to me, saying that we were already partners in crime and that I better...
You knew it from the very beginning, didn't you?
I'd suggest that you confess everything right now if you don't...
Yes, officer! I would order wooden barrels and flotation devices according to his instructions, and then load the sleeping animals onto a boat. Once I sailed to the location he provided, and a few days after that, I'd come by again in my boat and pick up the animals sleeping in the barrels. Once I had received enough of that guy, Pierre, he was running the entire show. Look, I don't know, okay?
And when did he send his final letter to you?
Just last night. He said that the Marechaussee Phantom is now after him, so he's planning to go into hiding for some time. He didn't mention where he's thinking about going.
It's been a few days since Pierre's last appearance. I'd wager that he sent that letter after...
I burned them. It was on his orders. I had to burn every letter after reading them. I wasn't even allowed to share them with the rest of the...
Sure sounds like you're trying to use the lack of witnesses or evidence to pin the blame on Pierre.
No, I swear, this time I'm only...
Well, we can check the truth of your statements at the Opera House. I hope you know what'll be coming for you if I
know, I swear.
Bonnie helped.
And it looks like she's grown quite... Now behave, and follow me to the interrogation.
That hurt.
Is everything... I still feel like... the relationship between... Also... No good. I've still got nothing, and I'm nearly out of energy. Alright, I'll stop. Let's go to the Humane Society before my energy for today.
You think I've got a sharp tongue? I just tell it like it is. If someone can't handle it, maybe that's their problem. Relax. Swollen Fury! Too slow.
Add Astro. Thank you for
There's no need to exchange pleasantries. It's rather force a conversation just to occupy silence.
Exactly, but none of them believed me.
Do you also see Navia and Clorand over there? They look like they might have run into some kind of trouble. Let's go check out what's going on!